Hello everybody, welcome back. In part 3 we're going to take a look at this dial, try to see what we got to do to fix it, replace some caps and some resistors, including the 10 ohm resistor. I will break a special feature out for the 10 ohm a little bit later on, and at the end of here I think we're going to try to power this up. So sit back, hope you enjoy it. Ouch! Look at this dial a little bit. Look at this. That has either a set screw, and it probably does because that's part of the planetary drive of the tuning condenser. And I don't know if you can see this or not. That looks like a string. No, never mind. Never mind. But anyway, there is a some sort of trunnion there. And so I think, and I'll have to do some research. Anybody knows about this, how this works, let me know. Because I think this sits and there's a string runs up there and runs it very similar to the silver bell. But next time we'll take this off, and then we'll start cleaning things up and see what we got to do to this dial, whether I have to see if I can repair it or if I have to try to buy one. Okay, I've desoldered the wires and took this out. Let's move this back a little bit. There we go. Should be able to remove these. All right. Let's look up in here a little bit. Okay. There is a shaft. And I believe this pulls out with the whole thing, but I'm going to take the front off first and see if we can. I'm not quite sure how that needle comes off. Let me pop those off. Well, got all my clips out there. All right, let's look at this. If we can see how this goes. Well, you see, I just lifted right off of that, right there. Looks like they've had some sort of lubrication on there. It's hardened. Let's see. A little fiber washer goes on there. I guess that's anti-friction. A little bitty, was that a C-clip clipped on there? Okay, let's look at this. That don't come off anyway, doesn't twist. So it looks like that the pointer's going to have to come off, and I'm not sure how it comes off. Yeah, go ahead and let's break this off real quick. All right. This was pressed on all the way down on that shoulder. And I started an X-Acto 900 and then just kept working it up until I got it out. And now see if I can put it back on one day. All right, let me put this needle in here. Along with this. See if I can figure out how this works. I think this is going to work the same way as the that silver bale. This is down on the shaft, and it's going to have a set screw in it there, and then on that set screw was that spring with a string, and as this turned, it turned that like that. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. No tension. Now I read somewhere where someone said, hey, I'm going to put an O-ring. Now I never did see if they put the O-ring and if it worked or anything like that. So apparently some people have has put O-rings in there. So I don't know. We'll have to investigate this a little bit and see what we can come up with. Started gluing this in sections. Get one positioned and apply some glue on the back. I was looking, and that's a real bright light. And this is where I repaired it. So it's not going to, I don't think it's going to shine through. So big thing is doing them a little bit at a time in different sections. Put another grommet. I used all my grommets, and so I've got that replaced. So we'll set that aside. That'll be good. So we're going to let this dry probably overnight and then start gluing some more of it. Here is the dial glued back together. I've put it up against fairly bright light. You know, you can, if you look close, you can see the cracks, but you know, I don't think it's going to be that illuminated. So I think that's probably going to be good enough if it'll stay together. I cleaned up the chassis a little bit using a Mr. Clean dry eraser or magic eraser. Back is a little bit rougher, but it's clean and no rust, so that's going to be good enough for now. Here's one of the tips that I do is with a small job, I'll do it in tandem. I'll do it in parallel with other jobs. I quickly just came over here and stuck some glue down in those few areas and put some clamps on there. So let's take a look, see how that came out. There's the joint that we glued up. Also glued some of the loose veneer on. Probably need to hit that right there some. And then this end here, glued it up. So let me put some glue in that while I found it. Changed this 2 meg resistor. This 100K was good. This 150K I had to replace these 3 paper caps. Put the electrolytics in. Remember the positive's common. That was the common terminal. And then this is C14, and I went ahead and tied it to this, which still was distributing the negative ground that was floating. And then this one was C13, and I brought it up here and tied it in where it normally goes. So the electrolytics are changed. I've got to go through and check some more resistors. I think this 10K's got to go, and I got to replace these caps and check the rest of these resistors, and then we'll be ready to try it. I've replaced resistors and capacitors except the can ohm. And like I said, I'm going to do a special section on the can ohm, but this is pretty much the way I build it, and it's going to go in, I believe it's like this, and then I've already disconnected the wires, or just took them loose and just moved these over to these terminals. And of course these capacitors I've not soldered in, they go on the can ohm also. So I'm going to put the can ohm in, I'll show you, but calculating the can ohm and is going to be a section all itself. So I'm going to put it in, I'll show it to you, and then I think we're ready to try to apply some power. Okay, I've installed the can ohm resistor, made all the connections. Another thing, like I said, I'm going to do a section just on can ohms on this one, of how to calculate what I did and everything. You'll notice I end up using 2-watt resistors on all of them. And I'm telling you that ahead of the time, because I had calculated some of them were going to be half watts. But when I went to my parts bin, guess what? I had 2 watts. They were right there. So I just used them. So the other thing is I plan on putting a fuse in here. And looking at the transformer, it is rated for 110 volts. So I'm going to end up putting a power resistor in here, and dropping the voltage from 122 to around 110 or so. So we'll be doing that. But I think right now we're ready to populate the tubes and power it up. I've hooked up a temporary power cord. I've got my fluke hooked up to the B+ at this point here. So the B+ should be on the order of 195 volts. So we'll be watching that. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to show you the startup voltages and current at the same time, and we will see. I have my lovely assistant over here that wants to stay off camera, so we'll see how that works. All right, let's see if we can't bring this up slowly. And let's see, variac down, power on. And let's see, let's bring it up a little bit. There's about 20 volts. Starting to see the current meter move a little bit. No hissing, frying smoke at this point. There's about 30, as you can see. Got a little bit of current, not a whole lot. That's a good sign. Starting to move on the B+ a little bit. That's good. Sitting at 50. We'll let that sit there for some. And the B+ is rising a little bit more. Okay. Let's go up a little more. Current seems stable. That's okay. There's about 85. We're running just shy of 200, maybe. No, it's a little bit over. The angle of the camera throws you off a little bit, but that's just relative. It's not. What are we hearing? I hear static. All right. Oh, the reason I can't tune is the block is blocking my filter or my tuning condenser. That's full volume, but I'm not running full current either. So let's bring it up. There's about 100. There's about 110 volts, just shy or right at 400 milliamps. 188 volts, B plus. It's sounding pretty good, considering the speaker. Okay. Getting a little distortion on my speaker, and I don't understand that. I'm just not really sure at this point, but we know the radio works, and the current looks good. Everything's looking good. We can go back under and check some of the voltages, and but I think the distortion may be the speaker. Not sure. Could be. We'll well, we proved that works. Okay. I think that's a good test. I'm happy. I put a little bit of glue on there just for grins and giggles to see, just to see if it would improve the sound, and I believe it did. You still can't crank it up. But it does improve it. You think I ought to try to patch that and see if it makes it better? We're going to recone it, but as an experiment, repair that and see how it sounds. Let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to patch this and see how it does. Okay, I've cut this and we're going to glue that in and just try it. What do we got to lose? We're going to recone it anyway, right? There we go. All right, patch is in. I went ahead and put glue on the place that was totally suspended. It'll be wrinkled and ugly looking, but I wanted it a little bit stiffer because the whole idea of a speaker is percussion, pushing air. So it was kind of flimsy, so I'm tightening it up with a little bit of glue. So we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to try it. What do we got to lose, right, guys? All right. We've glued this speaker, and it's dried. It's still a little distorted, I think. But just thought I would try this. And maybe I won't get a copyright on that one. Ah, thought we'd just patch it. Now we're going to probably recone it, but I just wanted to see how it sounded. It would do in a pinch if it had to, but we're going to go ahead and recone this. It's dried a couple of 3 days. I put some shims in around there while it was drying to keep it centered. I found this grid cap, the sorter on top of it, the cap itself, the wire was not making good contact with the cap, and also the tube. This is on the 78 tube. I'm sorry, the 75 tube. Wasn't making good contact. And so I cleaned all the pins and everything like that. So that helped a lot with the distortion. So here we go, guys. Now comes the question, do I recone it and risk tearing up that voice coil and doing damage to the rest of it? So I don't know. You guys be the judge. Let's listen to it. So what do you think? Do we risk tearing up that voice coil? Can I make it sound better than that with a recone? I really don't think I can. But you're going to say, well, you're talking yourself out of the recone. But looking at it, I talked to some of the other guys on YouTube channels, and their point is, if I can tear that voice coil up by doing this, and is it going to be better than that? And I don't think it is, personally. I really don't. Let me know what you think. So we're going to end this one right now. Now the next series that's coming out is on that can ohm resistor that I put in and how to calculate that. So y'all let me know. Give me feedback on should I recone this speaker or not. So you guys stay safe out there. I appreciate all my subscribers and all my viewers and all the comments. So from Larry, from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.